All right, sitting here socially distanced with my guy, Paul.
I guess I could take this off.
Yeah, like 6 feet away.
Yeah, we're good.
At least. Yeah, so what we're doing now is called Host As. We're going to do a little collaboration.
Yeah.
Been a long time fan of this guy. We met out in Hawaii.
That's right. And the thing about you and I is we both are hosts, we're both dads, and we both love talking to people.
Love talking to people.
Right?
Love it.
So why not join forces and just learn a little bit more about the world and take a break and see nature too. I like that we're here.
I want to talk about living without regrets and really just owning your mistakes. I had a conversation with Chadwick Boseman.
I think you essentially have to make peace with all the choices that you make, because even if it's something that feels wrong, it's setting you up.
And he was just talking about how he just made peace with the mistakes he's made, and he has no complaints, and he's just really looking forward to the future. And I thought that was just a beautiful thing.
I feel like we live in a culture where it's so hard to not do that.
Yeah.
Like looking back, hey, Facebook says 5 years ago, you were skinnier, you were happier, you were not as much responsibilities.
You think about all the time you take and all the energy you spend just either thinking about the future or thinking about the past. I know I'm having a kid, you're having a kid, and all of my thoughts are like, okay, what is it gonna be like? What is it gonna be like? But I feel like the only thing you really control is the now and the present. And it's so hard to stay present.
So today we're talking to a few people. We're learning how they don't live with regret, hopefully, and how to more stay in the moment. Because I think these days we all could use a little more of that.
I went to talk to a bunch of younger people, some children, some young men, and a regular adult. Actually, the father of two of the kids that I talked to, just to get their take on what it's like being Black in America. And I really had them examine their mistakes. And
It's I think you essentially have to make peace with all the choices that you make, because even if it's something that feels wrong, it's setting you up, and you learn from all those experiences. So I mean, I don't feel like I have anything to complain about. Like I'm always just thinking ahead, to be honest with you.
You know who that is? That's the late Chadwick Boseman, from when I sat down with him in November of 2019, just 9 months before he lost his battle with colon cancer. I don't know about you, but I'll have days where everything just seems to go wrong, and I'll feel like complaining, and I just think of that conversation I had with Chadwick, 4 years into a literal fight for his life, telling me he has nothing to complain about. That's when I just put on a smile and chug away at my day. But when we're kids, we don't really think about the future. So when it's crazy climate, I sat down with some children to ask them about their past, their present, and what's to come, to find out if our kids will be all right. This is my nephew, Cabri. He's 11 years old, and he's already an old man on his way to becoming a video game programmer. He was having a hard day, stressed out about life. So, after some ice cream, took him to the park, had a talk with him.
Because their wings are really oversized.
You want to take off your mask?
Dude. It's really uncomfortable.
One of the ramifications of 2020. Before a kid who's just starting to think for themselves, I wanted to know what he thought about the mistakes people make in life.
I make a lot of them, and I think no human being could be perfect. So like everyone has mistakes. Murder isn't a mistake. It's just
An awkward laugh is the currency of hope. Cabri looks away, then proceeds to unriddle his thoughts on murder.
to bring someone to murder. You have to like dogpile bad stuff, or like maybe they think like certain bad stuff about themselves, or maybe other people think certain bad stuff about them. But I love myself. I'm pretty confident. My biggest mistake was trusting too many people. I feel like because I've trusted so many people, a lot of them are just gonna like turn their back. That's one of the things I'm not confident about. No one has really betrayed my trust. It's just that I'm scared that someone is, because I'm like, hey, you're really trustworthy. Thanks, buddy. And then they just pull out, you've activated my trap card. I hate you, and you're not my friend.
He's aware of the mayhem going on in the world, and it's clear this kid has been paying attention.
2020 sucks. A lot of people died this year, mostly to cough virus. The stupid hey, cops are trash thing. Why do cops keep killing random people? And then like the BLM thing wouldn't have happened if some random guy didn't call the cops because like, oh, this guy stole this isn't real money. So like he's like, oh, this isn't real money. I have to call the cops. So he called the cops, and it turns out it was actually real money. And now he's dead. The guy he called the cops on is dead. And like, that's uncool.
He's talking about George Floyd. His world has been so untainted by injustice that he thinks this is the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement. Racism has popped his YouTube bubble.
When the whole BLM thing happened, I was coked up. I was just watching YouTube videos, and then like this YouTuber said, "Hey, can you stop? Just all lives matter. Don't do stupid stuff." I was like, huh? Why are a bunch of YouTubers saying this? So like, and I don't check the news a lot. So I'm at my grandpa's house. I check the news, and I'm like, what's happening? And turns out someone died because of racial profiling. And I'm just sitting here like, again? So I had to deal with this for like 2 months. I'm pretty sure the BLM stuff is still happening.
2020 has been dumping on him. So much so, he now knows what he can and cannot say on YouTube without facing demonetization.
Then there's cough virus, because if this is going on YouTube, you're gonna get demonetized if I say the actual name.
How is that affecting you? How is that affecting you? Like, how that changed your whole life?
It didn't change anything. I already stayed inside.
Yeah.
It only changed that I don't have to go to school now. I have to do online classes. Online classes sucked, and I don't like them, and I can't experience how middle school is yet. So like November.
While he jokes about the virus, it's clear that he's down that it's taken away his middle school experience. It was something he was looking forward to. But when I asked him about Donald Trump, he didn't know much, but he knows enough to say this.
I believe some racial profiling, random cursing, and just like being a bad president in general. So, isn't there going to be like a re-election soon?
November.
Oh, that's when I come back to school. I'm done talking about 2020. That's like.
It upsets you?
2020. I just don't like 2020 at all. Cause like I have to wear this now. I don't like this. It's annoying. It makes my face itch, and I don't really care. I don't want to be like a Karen, but masks suck, and I don't feel like wearing them.
Hands up, don't shoot! Hands up, don't shoot at me! Take at me!
I will fight to protect you. I am your president of law and order.
The words law and order continues to be a dog whistle, so I decided to ask Cabri his perspective on the cops. Was he scared of them? I wanted to know.
I don't fear anything but the unknown. And like, everything is unknown. I can't predict the future. If I could, I would go to the right path at all times. And there was actually okay, Rick and Morty. It's usually a really stupid show, but it actually taught me like a really good lesson. Don't try to strive for like a future that you see. Just like try to live your life to the fullest, and don't break the laws. So
how can you be mad at a kid whose life philosophy comes from Rick and Morty? Don't try to predict the future and keep your interactions with the cops to a minimum by not breaking laws. Sadly, for a black man, we know that even that can still mean death. Well, at least he's living his life with slightly better odds.
I'm already sad. Because now he just, like, went through all of this for nothing.
Next, I headed over to see my friend John and his 2 sons. Jonathan, who's 18, and Jordan, a charismatic 7-year-old who completely shut down when the camera's on him. This is Jonathan. While he's legally an adult, he doesn't feel like he's grown. Born shortly after 9/11 and dealing with the pandemic, he feels like he's faced adversity his entire life. A high school athlete with a very positive perspective on the police.
My look on cops, me personally, I'm not really scared of cops. I don't think every cop is bad, but I mean, me and myself, as knowing I'm black, knowing I'm 18, knowing I'm young, you know, I know a lot of cops, they don't really know who I am. I don't know who they are. So I'm not gonna judge a book by its cover, like neither should they. So I mean, that's my look on it. I feel like, you know, what's going on in the world with cops is just really tragic. But me personally, I don't have a problem with cops.
So now you mentioned something that's just so interesting to me. You said you're not going to judge a book by its cover, but yet cops, all too often, when they see a black person, they judge a book by its cover.
Right.
Why do you think they deserve the benefit of the doubt, but a black person doesn't?
Why they deserve the benefit of the doubt? That's a good question. I feel like growing up black and growing up white, you have 2 different ways of looking at life, and like it's all like, if you're a racist or if you have a problem with black people, it's all, you're taught that, you know, you're not born racist, you're not born hating black people. So like, at least me personally, I was taught that, you know, everyone's equal. You know, I'm not gonna judge you for how you are in life. I'm not gonna judge you how you look. I'm not gonna judge you, you know, how I feel like you're gonna come off to me. So I mean, you know, a lot of white cops, especially, they don't really know much about the black background. So I feel like they just, you know, they automatically think a black person's a thug when they're not.
He's doing the only thing he can do. Lean on how he was raised and judge people accordingly based on how they treat him. Noble. But how does he feel about his mistakes?
Well, the mistakes I've made in my life, I mean, mistakes happen. Like, you know, growing up, you're always gonna make a mistake. I mean, even when you're 40, 50, you know, you're making mistakes. So, I mean, me 18, I feel like these are the times, you know, just try stuff new, you know, make mistakes. And, you know, because you have time to, you know, bounce back, you know, being 18. So I feel like, you know, mistakes, they're going to happen. And, you know, it's just all about how you move on from the mistake and how you respond to the mistake. So.
As a high school athlete, he likens his biggest mistake to be doubting himself. But just like Chadwick mentioned earlier, he managed to learn from his mistakes.
I'll come back the next play, and I'll try to hit him as hard as I can. I'll try to stick him as best as I can. You know, it's like, it's on to the next play with me nowadays. Like before, I would just doubt myself. I'd be like, oh damn, well, it's gonna be a rough game for me the rest of the game. But now it's like, I'm gonna move on from it and it's just the next play. So like, it's like, that can never happen.
But how has some of the mistakes his parents made changed him?
I realize that I have 2 great parents, you know, that are with me every step of the way, no matter what I do. And that, you know, it's also rough, you know, having one parent and, you know, they also make decisions that, you know, aren't the best, but I guess that's just the way of coping with, you know, what their situation is in life. So that's how I take it, how I kind of react to it. A mistake that my parents really, really made that affected me, that's a good question. I mean, a mistake that my parents, maybe just not being together in general, I guess. I mean, maybe that was one of the biggest mistakes, maybe, because, you know, growing up, you know, you're always taught to have, you know, have a mom and a dad in the house and stuff like that. That's like the American family. So, I mean, I guess that's one big mistake that affected me, but, you know, I grew from it.
That's a tough question.
This is Jonathan's dad, John.
I think that the biggest mistake that I made in my life was leaving someone for someone else. That's it. Well, I like what? Yeah, that's. I think that's the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. Because I was young, so I was 21 years old. So I didn't understand the significance of the decision that I was making at that point in time. It was a fight with your heart and your mind in circumstantial situations. So that was by far the biggest mistake that I've ever made.
My life would be different if they were together.
Do you think it'll be better? You think it'll be worse?
I mean, me personally, I think it's fine right now. I think it would be worse, to be honest. I mean, I know my parents; they're two different people, right? They're completely different thinking, completely different ways of life. So, I mean, I think it would be worse, and I think it's best that they're just not together, in my opinion. So, I mean, that's how I feel about it. I feel like everything's just great how it is right now.
So you accept it,
Yeah.
and you're moving forward towards the future.
Yeah.
But when you think about mistakes and their mistakes, you hold that as the biggest mistake.
Right? Yeah.
But yet you accepted it.
I accepted it, yeah. 'Cause I'm not gonna dwell on the past. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, I'm not gonna dwell on the past. It happened. Everything happens for a reason. So, I mean, it is what it is at this point. I mean, I can't control it. It's not gonna change nothing. So,
A complete 180. Maybe it's because mistakes are just a moment in our past, but we don't have to become prisoners to them. What you learn from the obstacles you face will determine how far you gotta go to achieve what you want in life. I think that's what Chadwick was talking about. That's what Cabri was tapping into. And that's exactly what Jonathan informed me of.
yeah, I feel like a lot of people, they try to live for like somebody else. They try to live for the future, live for the past. But like, what's important is now and how you carry yourself now. Because that's what's gonna carry you in the long run. Which is gonna, overall, like, make your future.
I think accepting some of the decisions that ended up being wrong after evaluating them, you just learn. I think that's life. Like you make mistakes in life and you make decisions in life, and they're not always the right ones going forward. Maybe at that time you felt that decision was the right decision, but when you look back on it, it was the wrong decision, and you have to accept that. You have to, you know what, I should have made another decision, or I should have, had an alternative or something. But you have to accept it, focus it, and then move on.
Accept it, refocus, and move on. I can't think of any better advice to give you than that.
So here's what I did, man. I went and chatted with a few elderly folk because I think we can learn a lot from older people, and I wanted to learn from them what they do to stay positive and current and in the moment, especially into their old age. So I sat socially distanced on a bench with Xilla's stepdad, Willie B. One thing I want to ask you about is, I'm a young dad. I'm always trying to live in the moment, but I'm always looking to the past. I'm always looking to the future. What do you do, especially living through so many decades, to just stay present?
I was trying to eat good. I didn't. I never was a street man. Yeah, I always stayed home. I eat good, and I drank the right thing.
I've talked to some people who have lived into their hundreds, and everyone always says, no smoking, no drinking. And every time I
smoke.
You smoke?
Yeah, but that was 40 years ago.
Okay. But you don't drink?
No drink, no drugs.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble, man. I don't know. I definitely have a drink every once in a while. Maybe I should cut that out. I'm 33, and still to this day, I look back and I go, man, I wish I did this differently. I wish I didn't do this. I wish this would. How do you live more present without having regrets? Do you do that?
No, I don't have no regrets for my life, because I had a good life. I had my own business, a barbershop. I just retired in April 2020.
Congrats! Wow.
Yeah.
How's that? How's being done?
I've been cutting hair. I cut hair from 1958 up until 2002.
Wow. Same haircut?
No,
Changed over time?
As the time went by, different style.
Right.
Yeah.
You advance.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's such a classic trade too in America. A barbershop cutting hair.
Yeah.
It's been around for a long time. That's cool. I learned Willie B doesn't live with regret, but life and business wasn't always that easy.
Well, what happened, the woman that owned the property, the lady didn't keep the house up, didn't do nothing. Matter of fact, she wasn't even around. So the drug addicts and the crack people, they started staying in the house and whatnot. So they came by my shop and they stayed with me for a whole day. And, the detectives and stuff, and narcotic people, and they shut it down. So that's how I lost the shop.
They shut down the whole building because there were
The whole
crackheads
building.
living there?
Yeah,
Wow.
smoking crack and doing everything. Yeah.
So what happened? How did you get it back? You just changed
I
location?
didn't get it back. I went and I worked with a friend of mine. I worked with him.
Wow, so you changed it up.
Yeah.
When
Right.
was this? The 80s? How long ago was this?
No, this was in the 90s. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So we're talking about looking back. Do you look back on that peacefully? Because you kind of lost your business? That's a bummer.
Yeah, I think about it a whole lot. Yeah.
But it is what it is. Like, it happened. How do you feel about it?
Well, I don't feel too bad because I kept moving.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't give up.
Keep moving. Never give up. You hear these slogans on t-shirts and inspirational Instagram posts, but it was clear Willie B is a guy that truly lives it. What's the key to not looking back or not looking forward? Just keeping it moving?
Just keep it moving.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How about daily? Is there something daily you do to keep it moving so you don't get stuck in thinking too much about
Well, since I've retired now, before I retired, we used to play cards all the time. So I had something to occupy my mind. Playing cards. We play hard for hours. Yeah.
How about
Pinochle?
Pinochle, wow. How about technology? Does that play a part? Because I wonder if me looking at my phone so much makes me obsess over too many things instead of using my hands and just playing a card game or doing something a little more in the moment.
Yeah. Well, technology, that plays a pretty good part because I'm hooked on TikTok.
I was not expecting you to say that. A guy who plays Pinochle is hooked on TikTok. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm hooked on TikTok, yeah.
It's made to be hooked on. It's like a drug, sort of, right?
Yeah.
But that's funny that you're at least into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. We all can be better about living in the present moment, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we all can be better, yeah. But me, I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying my retirement. I'm having a good time every day. I leave here. I go over to my daughter's house, and I stay over there, and then I come home, eat, watch TV.
You have a schedule of things you like to do, and it sounds like you stay busy. It's not like you just aren't moving. You go and do things.
Oh yeah. Well, we don't play no cards no more since the COVID. That's what I miss. I miss that.
I think 6 feet away, gloves. You can maybe play socially distant Pinochle. I don't know. You got to be safe. That's for sure with your age too.
Yeah. 6 feet.
You got to pass it with one of those. Talking about the long sticks that grab garbage or stuff.
Yeah. But I'll be watching people play poker and stuff. You understand?
Yeah.
But they don't be thinking about the COVID.
Yeah. For someone who's lived through so many things in American history, so many decades, we're living in a time where the news could be depressing. It's also kind of a scary world. We have this virus. We have police brutality, things going on that are horrible, right?
Right.
How do you look at the world and say, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna stay positive?
I constantly watch MSNBC.
Oh yeah.
CNN. Yeah. But no, I don't get stressed out.
You don't. That's good.
That's one thing that I have did in life. never got stressed. Maybe that's the why I'm in the condition that I am, because
Right.
I don't let nothing stress me.
That's good for us to learn too.
Yeah.
We could take on so many of the things of the world, and we feel it. We want to change it. There's sounds like you have a good healthy balance with that.
Yeah.
You can learn and be informed, but you don't have to feel stressed about it all the time.
Right.
How do you do that?
Well, you gotta be strong. You don't let nothing worry you. In life, I have never let nothing worry me. I didn't worry about anything. I was strong. I said worrying is not going to change the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Worrying happens in our minds, really.
And then that's messing you up psychological, and
Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from Cuthbert, Georgia.
I heard it. I thought that. I didn't want to guess without really finding out.
Yeah, I'm from Cuthbert, Georgia. I came here in 1953.
Wow. Up to New Jersey, New York?
New Jersey.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My father had a farm. So 15, I was on the farm. About 16 or 17, my father had left and came here with my mother. So then the kids came later. Oh yeah, my father had his own farm. Milk cows, killed chicken, plowed the mule.
Wow.
Pick cotton.
Do you look back on the farm time and miss it sometimes, or do you like?
No. I hated farming.
Oh, really?
Yes, Lord, I hated it.
He hated farming, but that doesn't make it a regret. A man with little to no regrets still had one thing, looking back, he would do differently.
My biggest regret is that I got hooked on playing horses. Lost a lot of money playing horses.
Really? So gambling?
Yeah. I was addicted to the horses. I used to go every day.
The track? The horse track?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the horse track. And so I got addicted, and I had access to money every day. A barber, he got money every day if he got customers.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of customers, so I go to the track every night.
Became a fun habit, may have turned into a bad habit after a little while.
Right.
And so if you were to do it differently, maybe you would do it less, you're saying? A little bit less?
Do it here and there. Don't get addicted.
Yeah.
Now, I guess I probably would still be playing horses if it wasn't for this lady. I met a lady, and she told me, Willie, ain't you tired of losing all your money and being broke? You got to borrow money. So I actually quit. See, but you got to be strong.
Yeah.
So I quit playing horses. And now I don't quit playing the lottery. I don't even play the lottery no more.
Wow, so you kind of gave up. It sounds like you quit gambling cold turkey.
Yes.
That's a good woman who could get you to do that.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, listen, I appreciate you chatting with me. I feel like it's great to hear your history, learn from you.
If I learned anything from chatting with Willie, it was a few phrases that I can't get out of my mind. Be strong. Don't let anything worry you. Keep it moving. And find yourself a good life companion.
Yeah, this is nice to be. I don't think my outfit's appropriate. I feel too metrosexual for the woods.
Yeah, your outfit's not appropriate, but my outfit doesn't match your outfit.
Yeah. At least I wore like dad sneakers, that are good for the terrain.
I thought about that too. That's why I have one of these. I don't care about these. These were just like leftover props from the show I did.